Note the disclaimer. Also, I'm sorry that I haven't been very active this month. I'll get into it during the video proper. But my Patreon supporters still got to see preview images, work in progress shots, and high resolution images of the completed figure. If you wish to join them, even the smallest donation helps. The link will be in the description below. Hello out there, this is Wake Angel 2001, and I know what you're thinking. Over the month of August, I've mostly just been putting up toy review videos and stuff, but the truth is, at the beginning of the month, I had so many commissions, and I was working on so many figures at once that I felt quite a bit of burnout, and I just needed to take a break and concentrate on working on one figure instead of a bunch. And then, I got a really nasty upper respiratory tract infection. So, basically I was sick. So that really slowed down my work on even this one figure. So I've been slowly working on it over pretty much the entire month of August, and I finally finished it just a couple days ago. It's CGU Mushio's, however you're supposed to pronounce that. It's a Death Egg robot. A Death Egg robot done in the comic book style as opposed to the video game style that I made last time. So let's get into it. Alright, so the Death Egg robot. You see me make quite a few of these, so the basic recipe is already good. The base figure does not exist. It is pretty much a scratch build, and the core of it is this big old plastic ball that you're supposed to put candy in that I got from Party City. It comes apart in the middle, of course, which is convenient, and I cut a big old hole in one side for the head, two smaller holes in the other sides for the legs, and, little armholes too. Then I used bionicle joints, modified in the case of the shoulders because I couldn't find any small enough, to make the attachment points for the arms and legs. Now, usually I use hot glue to secure the parts and, put together the foam board bits. But, I had issues with hot glue, including one time when I accidentally melted a small hole in the side of the ball from the hot tip of the gun. Plus, it's kind of hard to maneuver a gun-shaped thing into small crannies. Which is why this time I got a tube of Flex Shot. Yeah, you ever seen those Flex Seal commercials or JonTron's video on the tape? Basically, this stuff is supposed to be like Jesus or something. It holds anything together and seal all kinds of awesome things. So I figured this stuff would be pretty good as a hot glue substitute. It would hold everything together just as securely. I would just have to give it a little bit more time to dry as opposed to hot glue, which only takes a minute or so to cool. But you know what? It turned out to work pretty well. It held all my pieces together quite securely, and I was able to use quite a lot of it without worrying about burning myself or accidentally melting anything. So, calling it a win. The Death Egg robot's feet are built pretty much the same way as always. It's all poster board and foam board for the main structure, and then I cover the whole thing in a layer of craft foam. This softens the figure up a bit, makes the edges look a little bit smoother, so you don't really see the attached together pieces of foam board. And when painted, it all looks pretty good. Craft foam is a heck of a lot easier to paint than even the foam board. Less streaky, I should say. The shins actually have a little bit of a 3D effect, since I was covering everything in foam board. Craft foam, I should say. I was able to cut slits and holes into it to make it look like it has actual vents and stuff going into it. I'm still a little bit stuffy even after all this time. So yeah, the legs, they just look very much like the legs I made last time. Whether it's the comic book style or the video game style, these always are pretty much built the same way. And same also goes for the torso. There's a big old backpack with a couple of corks for little rocket boosters, and I made the collar. This time there's slight differences in the deco because it's a comic book design as opposed to the video game design, but you all know where the score is. The cockpit is the same as always. It is a Kool-Aid container again, with a screw-on lid, which can be opened up. And as you can see, there's a little floor in there made out of foam board so that you can stand an Eggman figure in there. It's really a pain to take the head off and put an Eggman figure and then put the head back on. So even though you can put an Eggman figure in there if you want, I would recommend not doing it. It's just more trouble than it's worth. Just have a big old Death Egg robot action figure. And since this is the video game variant, the arms are much more square as opposed to the round, more cylindrical style of arms that were in the video game. So, you know, it's all built around a bionicle part, with craft foam and foam board and all that good stuff, with decorative elements added, and big old hands. You gotta be careful with those fingers because they are sharpened wooden dowels, and yes, you can actually stab yourself with them. So with that, all that was left was the shoulder pads made out of a ping pong ball cut in half. And yeah, the thighs and the bicep part of the arms are the only actual sculpted bits on the figure. They are epoxy sculpt over bionicle parts. So with all that said, let's take a look at the completed Death Egg robot. Oh wow, I just realized I forgot to take a work in progress shot of the head. That's a silly bit of oversight from me. But, you know what, there it is. It's a Pokeball, one of the Burger King ones, you know, you all know about those Pokeballs. I just happen to have a pretty big supply of them still, so that's still my primary source for making these Death Egg robot heads. I'll have to find an equivalent size ball that I can cut in half for the day comes that I finally run out of these things, but it's still not today. So that is the latest Death Egg robot. It's all made and posable and cool looking. And I hope you guys all like it. I should be picking up toy production again, and hopefully September will be a much more, much more productive month, let's say it that way. Thank you all for watching. This has been Wake Angel 2001, and I am signing off.